This is Remerge Real Talk, a space for app marketers to share their experiences working with us to create high-performing campaigns. Find out what we've discovered together.
Thanks a lot for hosting me in this amazing discussion with Remerge. And just to give you a little bit of background of myself and the company that I'm running at the moment. Basically, we are PhotoSì, and I'm the user acquisition manager. And so basically, I manage all the user acquisition activities on different networks from Facebook, Google, Remerge, influencer marketing, TV advertising, and so on. The ultimate goal of my job basically is to find user at the cheapest cost, okay, and to monitor the results of my user acquisition activities.
So we spoke end of last year when the whole thing about it kicking in and how you're gonna navigate like running mobile growth campaigns in a no ID world. And then obviously today's topic is about like the test we run and how we can together like as partners navigate the new reality. Coming into kind of like testing something new with us, like a new product that works in no ID and it looks at incrementality measurement. What were your initial thoughts or expectations from running such a test? Because if I remember correctly, you had never run like campaigns on no ID, or you have never really run the specific incrementality methodology, causal impact with any partners. So what was your initial thoughts, expectations, and why were you comfortable on testing with us?
I've always been very curious about incrementality test, just because I always try to not to believe 100% on what I see on my MMP, okay? Because especially in Italy, we are market leader, and so we know that we have a lot of organic traffic coming, okay? More or less 60% of the traffic that we get is organic, okay? And on the networks, we have a lot of post view, and so I always question myself, do I do really incrementality activity on the various network? And so I'm always too curious to do that, to test incrementality. So when Emma told me, yeah, Manuel, why don't we do incrementality test? I said, yeah, absolutely. I'm always curious to see what are the results of incrementality. And so I decided to start the test.
And then speaking more about incrementality, like we use a specific methodology called causal impact. In terms of like getting familiar with the methodology and how it works, would you say, okay, this methodology makes a lot of sense? Do you have a strong opinion about like what methodology you want to run, or you like more so in general, I think incrementality is how I'm gonna look at campaigns?
Yeah, I didn't know about the causal impact, and but the team was very good at explaining me how it works, and I was very curious to see the results on different devices. Thanks to the test. But I asked my data scientist to validate the method, and he gave me the okay. So I trusted absolutely the methodology, and also the results were really, really interesting. I really appreciate, Emma, in particular, the transparency on the data that you gave to us, because it was really clear every meeting that we did what were actually the impact of the activity that we were doing, and it was clear how you measure them. That was not, it's something that we have never saw in the past, because we were just looking at a dashboard, trusting the MMP, but in that case, we saw that there was a job in the background, let's say.
Speaking more about the test, I think you briefly mentioned that you're happy with performance. Like if you're looking at the overall test we did, what was the most helpful, most exciting in a sense? Was it the actual performance? Was it the service you got? Was it the reporting? What was the things you primarily appreciated in the whole partnership on this test?
Yeah, I think that the test gave me a great spotlight on the actual incrementality of the marketing activities that we do in low season, okay, and in peak season. I saw the difference that was like a great difference that I didn't see with the MMP. And I explain you why. Usually when we do marketing activities, we have a great return on investment in during the peak season, a lower return on investment in the low season, but usually it's always, let's say, acceptable. Okay. In that case, with incrementality, we saw that in low season, the return on investment was not acceptable. Okay. Then we got why, because basically in low season, we get a lot of organic traffic anyway. Basically, paid traffic cannibalized the organic. Okay. And thanks to incrementality test, we saw that thing. We saw that in peak season, people click more in the ads, download the app, and then purchase the product. And during low season, that doesn't happen. So this takeaway basically gave us the opportunity to save a lot of money during the low season and to invest more money during the peak season, actually generating a real positive ROI.
Yeah, it's actually a really interesting point what you said about incrementality account for seasonality, because that's something we always discuss with our clients are highly seasonal, like you. Where only with incrementality you can account for that. There's no way you can do it with any type of measurement, like a last click attribution and all that stuff.
Yeah, it gives you another perspective of your user acquisition activity. That with the deterministic approach you don't simply have.
So I want to also speak about, like, let's say, how you choose a partner to work with. And I mean, like, the first part of the question is like, I know like you work with a lot of different partners, and what was interesting to test with us? Like, I think it was the first test you ran on No ID. What was interesting on the partnership you really appreciated and made you test with us? And also moving forward, do you see like the parameters you evaluate in the partnership changing within the new environment? And what is going to be more and more important for you as we navigate the different type of targeting and measurement of mobile growth campaigns?
We trusted immediately on you because we saw that there was a project on incrementality. So we knew that you are actually you have the interest to find new ways to actually monitor the performance of the campaign, and we have interest on our side to monitor the performance of the campaign. So there was a commonality of interest, and I saw that the method that you showed to me, and thanks to my data scientist, I validated it. I think that incrementality gave a granularity of information that we didn't have with the regular campaigns. That's something that we didn't expect. So that's why I think that it's important to test incrementality test, maybe not all over the year, but in particular period, to see what is the real impact of the campaigns that you do. What I can say regarding the incrementality test is that it gave a positive incrementality and a positive cost per action, especially during the peak season. For PhotoSì, for instance, Valentine's Day, Father's Day are a great period to advertise, and in that period, in particular, people interact more. Okay, so what we saw is that when we are following the needs of the user, basically we get results. But when we do simply advertising on a product that they are not interested to that at the moment, basically we don't have incrementality. And that was a really good takeaway, because we decided after that to balance more the budget during the peak season, spending more money during the peak season and saving more money during the low season, resulting in a better budget efficiency. Because we had many bad experiences in the past, especially with some networks that basically gave us a lot of traffic that was basically cannibalizing our organic. Okay, so fraud, it's unfortunately it's a great problem in the industry, and so if you don't have an incrementality methodology, you can risk to basically pay for nothing, pay for something that you already have, and so I think that's why it's important.
It's so true, especially when you talk about fraud and how actually incrementality tackles fraud, which there's something that a lot of people hadn't thought or haven't discovered, that actually leveraging incrementality can help you better detect fraud. You have been kind of like a pioneer, testing different products, testing different things. What will be, let's say, an advice you would give to other mobile marketers within the space? Either like navigating partners or how to work internally with your teams? Any advice that you think it might be relevant and might help other people?
The suggestion that I give to other marketers is basically to question, like periodically, like every week, every day, to question what you're doing, because in the past I did a lot of mistakes, basically taking for granted that what was I doing was right. Okay, so if Facebook ads works, and you see good results on your MMP, it doesn't mean that it's really incremental. Okay, you have to check that it's actually incremental. And thanks to incrementality, you really see what is the incremental impact of your campaign. But then you have also, if you only see a single number, maybe you still see a part of the reality. Okay, you always have to think in the long run. Okay, so maybe your customer in the short term costs you a lot, but that customer in the long term will talk you with another customer, will take you other customer, and so on. And so you can have a long-term growth. In the end, you have to always question yourself and don't think only about performance in the short run, but also see the overall picture.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for all the insights. I think everything you share is very, very relevant for people like tackling the same challenges as you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emma. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for watching Remerge Real Talk. To find out how we can boost your app's performance, click on the link in the video description.